Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward-thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Today we're talking about setting more ambitious fundraising goals for your nonprofit. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you need to be setting more ambitious fundraising goals. So stick with me for just a few minutes here for my 5-minute training on why you need to be setting more ambitious fundraising goals. All right. First of all, is when you set, well, let me just step back from it. Most organizations are setting their budgets of that what they're fundraising towards unrealistically small, right? I think Sherry Kwam Taylor had a post about this recently. Shout out to Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Was talking about how many budgets she sees where people, and I've seen this too, people say, oh, we're going to raise this much more next year, but they haven't actually invested expenses into their plan to have the team, the resources to bring that in, right? So if your budget is not the budget that you're fundraising towards, right? Budgets are just financial plans, right? So you should have a plan, the fully funded plan, right? The fully funded plan includes all the expenses for funding for the fully funded plan. The fully funded plan includes everybody paid a market/thriving wage. The fully funded plan includes all the things you know you really need to make your organization great. Right? So most of you are fundraising for a plan that is too small. And when you fundraise for that plan that's too small, I really hope you don't meet your goals, because when you meet your goals and then your plan falls short because you didn't plan to have enough money, that's not going to feel very good. And those things add up. We planned for too little this year. Maybe your executive director didn't take that cost of living pay raise, once again, because it wasn't in the budget. Well, next year, are you going to give them a double pay raise, right? If you only give them a cost of living pay raise the following year, you still didn't make up for the previous year, right? So these things, each time we slip a little, they add up. So that's reason number 1. You need to have the plan that really can get the results. You need to have the plan of expenses that can really get the results, not a plan that shortchanges yourself even when you receive it. Okay, the next reason why you need to set more ambitious fundraising goals is it can actually increase your donor engagement. That's right, your donors would rather give to a fully funded plan than a not fully funded plan. I mean, a plan that really had a realistic picture of what it's going to take to be great. Let's imagine you're an investor. Do you want to invest in a company that's just going to get mediocre results because it didn't invest enough in its marketing? Or would you rather invest in a company that's going to be like grow like crazy. That's going to be amazing, right? The company that's going to get mediocre results, you probably actually don't really want to invest anything. The company that's going to get amazing results, you will invest significant amounts of money in because it's going to be amazing, right? A lot of donors have the investor mindset, and a lot of them are also smart business people. And if you show them a financial plan that isn't fully fleshed out, that doesn't have the real costs in it for doing great things, they're not going to be excited about investing in you. Either they're just going to be like, this isn't likely to produce great results. Or those donors might even think, these people don't really understand how money works. And so I'm not going to trust them with my money. So setting those bigger goals for those bigger budgets are actually going to help secure the funding for those bigger budgets. All right. Let's talk about number 3, which is really about the wave of momentum that will come. So when you set bigger fundraising goals to meet what's actually a more realistic budget, a growth budget, you are more likely to meet them. And then you're more likely to grow. And let me tell you, the excitement when people see you growing, when people see you emerging, that brings its own momentum, and it attracts more people to you, and it gives you even more potential to grow. So you set a bigger budget, you set accordingly bigger fundraising goals, and in that budget, right, has the expenses to achieve those fundraising goals. It helps you actually attract more, especially major donors who want to achieve that. And then you achieve not just your fundraising goals, but you actually achieve growth. You actually achieve greatness in your organization. And achieving that greatness, achieving that growth, making that additional impact, getting that additional awareness brings more people. It brings more major donors. It gets your major donors to recur even more, right? They want to repeat what they got last year. They want more of that excitement. And it brings in the rest of those donors because the excitement starts to exude. It brings in the smaller level donors, but en masse, right? And so now you've got momentum growing, and this becomes a revolving cycle of growth and more impact and more money and more excitement. And that way you're off that cycle that so many organizations are on. You create a starvation budget. If you're lucky or unlucky, you meet your fundraising goals to meet that starvation budget. You starve as a result. You look like you're starving. People leave, they abandon you because they're like, I don't want to be on the sinking ship. And they leave. And now you're really going to starve. And so you set an even more starvation budget. I'll tell you a quick story before we wrap up today. A client of mine, very smart executive director, you know who you are if you're listening, has been presenting to their funders their funding over the years adjusted for inflation, which is really, really smart because it shows truly, right? Inflation goes up every year. It's normal, happens some years more than others, but on average, inflation's usually around 3% if you average it out over time. Inflation goes up. So if our income and our expenses go up with inflation, so if our revenue doesn't go up the same percentage, we actually have less than we had before. And so when we adjust for revenue, we even out for inflation, and we can see, when we adjust for inflation, we even out our revenue so we can see if we're actually got the same revenue. Did we get the same gift from you or the same funding from you as we got the year before? Did we actually get more, or did we actually get less? And what this executive director was able to show was that their funders are claiming, we were giving you the same amount every year, or we've given you more than last year. But the trend over the past many years has been adjusted for inflation, less and less and less. But the expectations have been as much or more or more or more. And that creates problems because then we don't get the results because we don't have the funding, and it gets even harder to fundraise. That's what I have for you today. If you would like tips like this in your inbox, your email inbox, go to pivotground.com/sign up. Or if you're thinking, oh my God, I want to be that executive director in the room with Sarah, getting coaching, hand-holding, guidance on how to run a growth-oriented nonprofit that is fully funded and is fun to run, that includes vacations, you can go to pivotground.com/application. And we'll see if working together makes sense. Until next time, all the best.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.